Hello everybody. So this is our fourth lecture for the course Introduction to Linguistics, and in this course we will in this lecture we will speak about the sounds of language. Okay, we will make a short introduction about the sounds of language. We'll speak about phonetics, voiced and voiceless sounds, place of articulation. So, concerning the place of articulation, we'll speak about bilabials, labiodentals, dentals, alveolus, palatals, velas, glottis, and we'll see a chart about concerning the consonants of English language. As well, we are going to talk about the manner of articulation. Okay, with the manner of articulation, we'll talk about the stops, fricatives, affricates, nasals, liquids, glides, vowels, diphthongs, and we will speak about the subtle individual variations. Okay. Well, the sound of spoken English do not match up a lot of the time with letters of written English. That means when we write English words and later try to read them, okay, most of the time we find out that what we pronounce is different to what is written. Okay, so if we take an example of the words you have in the slide, okay, so just have a look at the word written English. Okay, so as you can see, what you write is W, but you do not pronounce this W. So how can we? So the question is, if we cannot use the letters of the alphabet in a consistent way to represent the sounds we make, how do we go about describing the sounds of language of a language like English? How can we describe, okay, a language if what we write is not what we pronounce? So a solution to this is to produce a separate alphabet with symbols that represent sounds. So that means we have the alphabet, the English alphabets A, B, C, D, etc. Okay, but we have other alphabets, we can say, but not for what is written alphabet, but what is pronounced. Okay, such a set of symbols does exist. It exists. Okay, and is called the phonetic alphabet. A set of symbols, each one representing a distinct sound segment. And just to clarify this point, these symbols are what you see when you look for a word, okay, in a dictionary. If you try to check the meaning of a word in a dictionary, most of the time, it's not most of the time, but always you have another thing just after the word in a dictionary. What comes between two, most of the time, between two slashes. What you see as symbols, okay, in between two slashes, that's what we call phonetic alphabet. So, in order to deal with the sounds of English, okay, so the first point we should introduce here is the phonetics. And phonetics is the study of the characteristics of speech sounds. So, with phonetics, we try to find out the characteristics or what characterizes, okay, the speech sound. Each speech sound for each language has special characteristics. Phonetics can be divided into three types. Articulatory phonetics is the study of how speech sounds are produced. So we will see for each sound that we produce what are the different parts, okay, in our body or in our organs or speech organs, okay, which speech organs are involved in the production of this sound. Acoustic phonetics is the study of the physical properties of speech as sound waves. So this is the study of the sound while is between the transmission when I produce the sound and before someone hears it, before someone receives this sound. Where does the sound go? It goes in the air, and this science focuses on is studied by the acoustic phonetics. Auditory phonetics is the study of the perception of speech sound by the ear, okay, also called perceptual phonetics, which means the perception or the when someone receives the sound. So with phonetics, we are going to deal with the voiced and voiceless sounds. What is meant by voiced and voiceless sounds? In articulatory phonetics, we investigate how speech sounds are produced. So with this science, we deal with the production, okay, of sounds, speech sounds. What are the organs, okay, involved in the production of this sound? We start with the air pushed out by the lungs. So in order to produce any sound, normally we have air in our lungs. When the air starts to get out, okay, pushed out from our lungs, from that point the speech sound starts to be produced. So the air gets out of pushed out by the lungs up through the trachea, okay, so the windpipes. So the windpipes are here. We can see them on a picture. All right, as you can see on this slide, this is the trachea, okay. So it is called the windpipes as well, okay, because through this pipe, the air, when it comes out from our lungs, it goes through this pipe, not the pipe on the right, not this pipe, okay, but this one, because this one is reserved for eating, for food. So this one is for the air that comes out from the lungs, and we call this the trachea or the windpipe. To the larynx, we go back to that picture, okay, so just above the trachea or the windpipe we have the larynx. These are the larynx. So what exactly exists behind what appears here, the Adam apple, okay, so that's the part which is called the larynx. Inside the larynx we have the vocal cords. So what is called the vocal cords, okay, is the position of the vocal cords is inside the larynx. So going back to that slide as well, so if this is the larynx, have a look at the vocal folds or the vocal cords. Both names are for the same thing. These are, so the vocal folds or the vocal cords are here, okay, so they are inside the larynx. And the vocal folds or the vocal cords most of the time take two positions, okay, whether they are completely open or moving. Well, the first one, when the vocal cords are spread apart, it means that they are, so let's say these are the vocal folds. If they are spread apart, it means they are open. the air coming out from the larynx, okay, and going through the trachea and inside the larynx. So since these are the vocal cords, the air will go without being stopped, okay, or without any obstacle, because the vocal folds or the vocal cords are open. The air from the larynx passes between them unimpeded. It means without being stopped. When the sound comes, okay, in such a situation, without being stopped at the vocal at the level of the vocal folds, these sounds in this way are described as voiceless. Okay, so the second position is when the air is getting out of trachea of the larynx and going through the trachea. When it comes to the level of the vocal folds will close and close and open. Okay, so it will make a movement, and this creates a vibration, like the vibration of the mobile. Okay, when the vocal cords are drawn together, it means they come together. The air from the lungs repeatedly pushes them apart as it passes through. So it is like this paper. Okay, so these are the vocal folds. Whether they are completely open, okay, so if I show you, these are the vocal folds. If I try to act this movement, so if they are open, the air will go without being facing any obstacle. But if they are closed and I push them, okay, the air will push them. So the air will go, but with the obstacle. Okay, so the air will push them apart as it passes through, creating a vibration effect. Okay, sounds produced in this way are described as voiced sounds. Okay, so that's on this picture you can see the side, okay, picture of a head. Okay, what you see are the places of articulation. Okay, different places where the sounds are produced. Okay, so and these are the different, okay, parts, speech organs. Okay, well, we call them speech organs because they take part in the production of speech sounds. This is the same, okay, maybe maybe it is clearer, okay, so it's the same picture that presents the places of articulation. So once the air leaves the lungs and passes through the larynx, the trachea, then the larynx, it comes up and out through so once they go from the lung, the trachea, the larynx, so it comes to the mouth. When it is in mouth position, it will come out, okay, come out in a form of sound, because all sounds are related to this air coming out of from our lungs. So whether it gets out from the mouth or from the nose. Most consonant sounds are produced by using the tongue and other parts in the mouth. So if we go back to that picture, so this is our tongue. This is the tongue, okay? All this is the tongue. As you can see, okay, have a look at this, the tongue, okay? You can see that the tongue is divided into, okay, 4 parts. We have the tip of the tongue, okay, that's the tip of the tongue. We have just the part, that's the tip of the tongue. But the part just behind the tip, okay, is called the blade. Just behind the blade is the front part, is the front part. That's the front part, okay, and the back part of the tongue, okay. So the tongue is divided into 4 parts here: tip, blade, front, and back. Well, most of consonant sounds, as I was saying, are produced by using the tongue and other parts of the mouth to limit in some way the shape of the oral cavity through which the air is passing. So once the air comes out from the lung through the trachea and the larynx, the tongue will move in one way or another to shape the oral cavity. Okay, so if the tongue moves up, so it will leave a special space. Okay, it will leave a special space for the air to pass. It's probable that the tongue, the back of the tongue, blocks this passage of air. Okay, this area blocks this area, closes this area, and then the air will not go through the mouth, but through the nose, passing through the nasal cavity. The terms used to describe many sounds are those which denote the place of articulation of the sound. That is, the location inside the mouth at which the construction takes place. So, if the air goes, as I said, when the back of the tongue blocks this area and the air goes through the nose, so that sound will be described as nasal sound, okay, etc. So this is just an example. We'll see the others. Well, just to practice different places of articulation, unfortunately, I planned to show you live these links, but unfortunately the internet connection is not working. The internet access is not working. So these 2 links may be of great help for you, okay, to understand the places and later the manners of articulation, okay. So you can use these 2 links at home in order to practice and understand more those places of articulation and what we are going to describe now. So we will start with the bilabials. What is meant by labials? The bilabials are sounds formed using both upper and lower lips. When we use mainly our lips to produce sounds, those sounds are called bilabials. But what we should understand is that when we produce sounds using our lips, there is only one lip that is moving, okay, making a real movement, okay, so which is the lower lip. This one is like fixed in one level, at one level, okay, and the low lip is moving up and down, okay. So the lower lip articulates against the upper lip. So the upper lip is at its level and the lower lip goes to it. In that case we will produce, for example, B. So when I produce this sound, okay, B sound, the lower lip goes and articulates up against the upper lip to produce this sound. But what are the bilabials? Okay, the P, okay, which is voiceless. And in order to check voiced or voiceless sound, just put your hand or backhand, okay, just put your fingers on this part, Adam's apple, okay, just put your finger here. So if you feel vibration, that's voiced. If you don't feel, okay, vibration, that's voiceless. Sorry, if you feel vibration, that's voiced, and if you don't feel, that's voiceless. So when I produce the sound p, I don't feel any vibration here. Opposite to that, when you produce the sound b, m, w, so all these sounds are formed by the lips, and at the same time we feel one of them, p sound, is voiceless, while the three others are voiced. The second one, or the second place of articulation, is labiodental or labiodentals. Okay, the labiodentals, well, from the word labial, the first one, bi means two, labial means lip. Okay, the second one, labial, like labial, so there is one lip, and dental means teeth. Okay, so with the labiodentals, okay, or the labiodentals are sounds formed with the upper teeth, not the lower, the upper, and the lower lip. So our lower lip with the upper teeth. Okay, the lower lip articulates against the upper teeth, not the upper lip. If it articulates with the upper lip, so it will be bilabial. But here in this case we have the lower lip and in articulation, in contact with the upper teeth. And for using these two organs, okay, speech organs, means the lower lip and the teeth, okay, so we will have labiodental sound, okay, and the two labiodental sounds are f and v. F is voiceless, f, v, v, v. Okay, so you can check this when you practice the labiodentals. So whenever you produce the sound f, make sure that there is no vibration, while when you produce the sound v, there is a vibration. So no vibration, voiceless; with vibration, voiced. Dentals are sounds formed. Certainly, we are not going to use only teeth here, but these sounds are formed with the tongue tip. Tongue tip, it means the tip part of the tongue behind the upper front teeth. These teeth, front teeth, upper, not down, upper, okay, and with the tip of the tongue, okay. Also referred as interdentals. Another name of these dentals is the interdentals. The tongue tip articulates against the upper teeth. So there are still also two voices. There are two voices which may be described as interdentals or dentals, okay, which are th and the, th and the. So normally the tip tongue must touch the back of the upper teeth, okay, with the, and to produce th, 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 the. Th, that's voiceless, the, that's voiced sound. Another place of articulation and other sounds we produce it in another place, which are the alveolars. Alveolars are sounds formed with the front part of the tongue. We are not speaking about the tip of the tongue, the front part. And the front part can be the tip or what is behind the tip. That's what we called earlier, and I showed you that on that slide of the picture. Okay, what comes behind the tip, which is called the blade. Okay, so we speak about the front part of the tongue on the alveolar ridge. The alveolar ridge. So let's go back to that picture. So this is the tip and the blade, okay, which we consist the front part of the tongue, okay, and it articulates with the alveolar ridge. If we look at the name, this is the alveolar ridge. Well, so it points to the part. It points to the part just behind our teeth. The ceiling of our. So if you look at the picture, you have the oral cavity. Okay, let's say that's the upper part of the mouth. So it is just behind the teeth. Okay, so that's the alveolar ridge, and since the alveolar ridge takes part in producing these sounds, so that's why the name of the sounds is called alveolus. So the front part of the tongue, okay, on the alveolar ridge, which is the rough bony ridge immediately behind and above the upper teeth, okay. The tongue tip and or blade articulates against the teeth ridge, okay. The sounds produced can be, okay, and these two sounds are voiceless, okay. So if you can see, well, with the links it's very clear. You can see that the front part of the tongue touches the alveolar ridge, and to produce t or s, which are two voiceless sounds. The other sounds which may be considered as alveolus, okay, are the d, z, n, r, which are voiced. There are other alveolars or other sounds that can be considered as alveolus, which are the l and the r sound. Another place of articulation is the palate, okay, and the sounds, if we go to that image, okay, the soft palate, okay, this one, okay, and the sounds which are produced at this level or at this point, okay, are called the palatals, okay, or alveolar palatals, okay, and these sounds are produced with the tongue and the palate. The tongue front, okay, the front part of the tongue articulates against the hard palate. The hard palate is what you find, as we said, all this is okay. Well, just we have seen the alveolar ridge, which is the part just behind the teeth. Just behind it, at the back, a little bit at the back, you will find the hard palate. Okay, that's the hard palate. So if the front part of the tongue touches this part, in that case, you will have alveolar palatal sounds. Okay, these sounds are such as sh, sh, and ch, which are voiceless. There is no vibration. Just to remind you that voiceless means there is no vibration here. The vocal cords are open. Okay, whereas j and j and y, that this sound, okay, don't this must be, okay, pronounced as a sound, not read as a letter. Don't try read it J, okay, because these sounds in between two, okay, brackets are sounds, not letters. Okay, so this one in a symbol, as a symbol of sound, is pronounced y, y, y. Okay, so in this case you will see that the front part of the tongue is articulating against the hard palate. Another place of articulation is the vela. Okay, where is that? Uvula. Okay, and the sounds which are produced at this point is called are called the velars. Are sounds produced with the back of the tongue against the velum. The tongue back articulates against the soft palate. Okay, soft palate is the last part of the palate. So the palate can be described or divided into three. Okay, so we have this alveolar ridge, that hard palate, and this soft palate. And if you try to move back the tip of your tongue to the back of your mouth, you will find something which is soft, okay, at the back of your mouth. That's what we call soft palate. And if the back part of the tongue, okay, if the back part of the tongue articulates against this point, okay, against the soft palate, in that case we are speaking about velars. And when these two parts, okay, or when these two speech organs, okay, come into contact, okay, and they work together, we have the sound k, and which is voiceless. And if we produce the sound g, okay, or okay, these sounds are, okay, voiced, and they are velars. The last one, okay, as a place of articulation, we will speak about the glottis. In fact, there is only one sound that is produced without the active use of the tongue and other parts of the mouth. It is the voiceless sound. That's a sound, okay? You hear something, but in this case it is only one glottis sound, okay? And the tongue doesn't move, okay, and doesn't articulate against any part of the oral cavity, okay? The vocal folds themselves are the place of articulation. The vocal folds or the vocal cords are themselves the place of articulation. That's why we call them the glottals. In order to represent these voices into a chart or into a table, okay, we will see that we need to agree upon some signs or symbols we are going to use in this table. Having described it in some details, the place of articulation of English consonant sounds, we can summarize the basic information in accompanying chart. Along the top of the chart, okay, along the top of the chart, we are the different labels of the places of articulation, and under each label there is a minus V or plus V. Minus V or plus V. So if you have minus V, so that's voiceless. If you have plus V, that's voiced. Also included in this chart on the left side, okay, left hand side, is a set of terms, okay, used to describe manner of articulation, and that's what we are going to deal just after this part of the lecture, okay, which will be discussed in the following section. So these are manners of articulation: stops, fricatives, affricates, nasals, liquids, glides. These are the places of articulation we have just discussed it. Okay, so if you can see, the P is a bilabial and it is voiceless. The B is bilabial and it is voiced. Are there any other bilabials? Yes, there are. M and W. Labiodentals, F and V. No others. Okay, no other labiodentals. The dentals are Th, Th and V. The voiceless Th and the voiced V. Concerning the alveolus, Okay, so we have t and s, okay, which are voiceless. D, z are and n, l, r. These are voiced sounds. The palatal, okay, it's sh and ch, which are voiceless, and j and j, j, d and j, okay, j, that's a voiced sound. The velar, we have k, which is voiceless, g and nk, okay, are voiced. The last one, which is the only glottal sound, which is voiceless, and it is, okay. So this table presents, okay, the consonant sounds, but still we need to deal with these elements, which are the manner of articulation. Okay, the manner of articulation. So far we have concentrated on describing consonant sounds in terms of where they are articulated. In the previous section of this lecture, we discussed the place of the production of sounds. Where exactly these sounds are produced. We can also describe the same sounds in terms of how they are articulated. Such a description is necessary if we want to be able to differentiate between some sounds which in the preceding discussion we have placed in the same category. Just to explain this, so if I say p, b, m, w are bilabials, so what's the difference? If these four sounds are all bilabials, so what makes them different? What makes any one of them different from the others? It's the manner, okay? The way it is produced, not the place. The place is common, is the same. The place of the production is the same, but the manner it is produced is different, and that's what we'll study here. For example, we can say that t and s are both voiceless alveolar sounds. How do they differ? What's the difference between them? They differ in their manner of articulation, that is, in the way they are pronounced. The t sound is one of the set of sounds called stops. The s sound is one of a set called fricatives. So we will study them one by one. Okay, the first one is the stops. Okay, so what sounds, okay, are described as stops? The stops, so is at the earlier section we have studied bilabials. So if I ask you what are the bilabials, so you look in a vertical way, okay, in a vertical way. The sounds under this name are p, b, m, w. While if I ask you what are the stops, so you look at a horizontal way, this way. Okay, so the stops are p, b, t, d, k, g. These are the stops. Why are they called stops? Well, so, as I said, the sounds we have already mentioned, the set is p, b, t, d, k, g, are all produced by some form of stopping of airstream. That's why they are called stops. Okay, so the air gets out of our lung while coming to the larynx. At a position in the oral cavity, they are stopped. Well, not for a long time, okay, but very briefly. Then letting it go abruptly. B. That's the air gets out, stop it at one position, and then goes up. For example, for the b sound, So the air is stopped at the position of the levels. So that's why we call them bilabial stops. Okay, it is a bilabial sound, and it is produced in a stop way. This type of consonant sound resulting from a blocking or stopping effect of the airstream is called a stop or a plosive. Another name for stops are plosives. So the same if you hear or you read in any book, okay, this expression plosive, it means the same as stops. Okay, the fricatives. The manner of articulation used in the producing. So if we go back to that table as well, the fricatives, and you can see we have more or less a long list of fricatives. So we have the f, v, th, th, s, z, sh, j. These are the fricatives. How are they produced? The manner of articulation used in producing the set of sounds I just mentioned. Okay, so in this one, I think, well, let me see, maybe, yeah, here, sorry, there is one missing here. Okay, in this position, there is the j, not z, j, this sound, okay, is missing here. So the j sound is missing here, okay? So involves almost blocking the airstream and having the air push through the very narrow opening, okay? As the air is pushed through, a type of friction is produced and the resulting sounds are called fricatives. So they are not stopped completely, but they are like, almost blocking. Not stop it, but to block it. Yeah, it's like an obstacle in front of it. Will keep getting out, okay, but we being blocked for a while. As the air is pushed through, a type of friction, vibration, okay, is produced, and the resulting sounds are called fricatives. The affricates, if you combine a brief stopping of the airstream with an obstructed release which causes some friction, you will be able to produce the sounds ch, d. These are called affricates. Okay, so I think there is a mistake once more here. Okay, so we have the ch and the j. Once more, this sound, the sound j sound, and here as well there is the j sound with j sound, not d but j. The nasals, most sounds are produced orally with the velum raised. Okay, so if we look, we go back to that picture. Okay, so this is the velum. Okay, whether it is raised or down. Okay, okay, so the nasal cavity, preventing airflow from entering the nasal cavity. So here, so this one, yeah, most of the time it is back it is to the down position. Okay, so when the air comes through the larynx, it will automatically go through the oral cavity. Okay, but if we want to produce sounds using the nose and using the nasal cavity, so this position will block the air, will come and against the back of the tongue, okay, will come back, okay, against the back of the tongue, so the air will not go through this one because it will be blocked here, so it will go up through the nasal cavity, and in that way we will produce sorry, just a minute, we'll produce the nasals, okay? However, when the volume is lowered and the airstream is allowed to flow out through the nose to produce m, n, and n, the sounds are described as nasals. The liquids, the initial sounds in lead and red are described as liquids. They are both voiced. The L sound is called a lateral liquid and is formed by latering the airstream flow around the sides of the tongue. So the air will not go in one block, but it will go in two ways. So the air will go in two ways, okay, of the tongue as the tip of the tongue makes contact with the middle of the alveolar ridge. The R sound at the beginning of red is formed with the tongue tip raised and curled. Raise and curl, okay? Raise and curl, okay? Curled back near the alveolar ridge. Another way to produce sounds is called glides. The glides are sounds like w and y are described as glides. They are both voiced and occur at the beginning of we, wet, you, yes. These words start with glides, w and y. These sounds are typically produced with the tongue in motion or gliding, moving. Okay, it's not just in one position, but it's moving to a form or form the position of a vowel, and are sometimes called semi-vowels or approximates. That's why, because in this the movement of the tongue producing these two sounds, the w and the y, is more or less close to the way when we use our tongue to produce the vowel sounds, okay? So, the last sound, okay, the sound H, okay, sorry, not H, H is a letter, but the sound H, okay, as in hi or hello, is voiceless and can be classified as a glide because of the way it combines with other sounds. In some descriptions, it is treated as a fricative, and we will discuss this in other sections. Vowels, while the consonant sounds are mostly articulated via closure or obstruction of the vocal tract, vowel sounds are produced with a relatively free flow of air. So, most of the sounds, okay, most of the consonant sounds are produced by blocking of air. When we speak about vowels, the air is more or less like free, okay, and we'll see the examples of this. They are all typically voiced. So all vowels are voiced. Whenever you produce a vowel sound, make sure that the vocal folds are vibrating. That's voiced, okay? To describe vowel sounds, we consider the way in which the tongue influences the shape through which the airflow must pass. So, with the vowels, only the shape of the tongue, okay? To talk about a place of articulation, we think of the space inside the mouth as having a front versus back and high versus low area. So these two pictures, okay, show you the manner of articulation, okay, of the vowel sounds. Okay, so you have here the vowels. You can have a look at that in a form of a chart on your books, page 38. Okay, so that's the chart concerning the vowels. Okay, but here this picture represents a mouth, by the way. That's the teeth, these are the lips. Okay, that's to the lips, and that's to the throat. Okay, so that's the front side. This is the front side, and that's the back side of the mouth. Front side, back side, it means to the throat. Okay, so the vowel sounds are produced here. E is upper. Is close to upper. Is in the middle. And okay, so the position, okay, of the tongue, okay, the position of the tongue, whether, as we said, front, at the front or at the back, at a high or at a low position. Front, back, high, low. Still, as I said, the links I provided you may show you an animated position of the tongue. Okay, it will be of great help for you to see how these vowels are produced. Okay, the manner of articulation. Below is a chart with a list of sounds with some examples of familiar words. Okay, so how do you pronounce E? These words: eat, key, see. So that symbol, okay, this symbol is the symbol for the sound E. Okay, that E, which is, okay, this one, the symbol is like the small letter I. This one, E, is, the symbol is, okay, small I, but in capital form, without dot. Okay, so that's the symbol for E. Hit, myth, women. Okay, E, here, in this position. Okay, that's where, sorry, in this position, we, man, we, E, we. Okay, so what's that symbol? If you read these words, you will find it is great, tail, way. So what sound do you hear as vowels? A. So this sound is A. Dat, pet, said. Dat, pet, said. So that's the symbol for of While the others are more examples of vowels. Okay. There is another manner of articulation which we call the related to the vowel sounds, and when we combine two vowels together, so we get a diphthong. Okay, diphthong. So are types of vowels where two vowel sounds are connected in a continuous gliding motion. Okay, they are often referred to as gliding vowels. Okay, so we have, for example, I, oi, ow, buy, boy, cow. So for the I, you have the examples of buy, I, my. For the oi sound, which is o, e together, okay, oi sound is, we have, for example, boy, noise, boy. Ow sound, we have cow, doubt, loud. Well, some people pronounce or produce sounds, the same sound, different from okay, each other. Okay, one person is different from another. Vowel sounds are notorious for varying between one variety of English and the next, often being a key element in what we recognize as different accent. Okay, so well, for example, the accent in the south is different from the accent in the north, and is different from the accent in the south. Okay, people in the north pronounce these vowels differently from people in the south, and that's why we say that accent comes from the north, or that accent comes from the south. The more we focus on the subtle differences, okay, of the actual articulation of each sound, the more likely we are to find ourselves describing the pronunciation of small groups or even individual speakers. So we are not really, in fact, if we focus on these small differences, very little differences, okay, so we are not describing the language or the sounds, speech sounds. We are describing the pronunciation of those people and those individuals. Thank you very much. That's the end of our 4th lecture. See you next time.